الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك، هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من حقك، بس بلاش العين، لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق رزقك، الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك، هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من حقك، بس بلاش.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, thanks and praises are due to Allah, by whose grace all things are made possible. It's a very, very warm welcome from this beautiful, beautiful facility, a place called Dawn Mountains that we will hear about throughout the program and indeed the next. Situated in the picturesque Franschhoek Valley, it's a privilege to welcome into the studio here in this beautiful setting, Mr. Sharif Abbas, Mr. Ishmat Bulli, CEO of Jamiatul Qura, the treasurer of Jamiatul Qura. Welcome back to our program, Sharif and Ishmat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam, Ashraf, and to the viewers as well.
Gentlemen, we spoke in the past, and quite honestly, in the preceding program, and we reflected on the stunning history and indeed the modest and humble starts of JEQ, Jamiatul Qura. And I reiterate, of the foremost Hafidh institute, certainly in the Western Cape, and I dare say our country. And so from its humble beginnings in 1969, and we heard of the luminary like Sheikh Yusuf Bulli, the other persons involved in its establishment. And so I just thought, Sharif, as CEO, if we could perhaps fast forward and almost look at present day. And I think when we ended the last program, we spoke at the Yusufiya period and the start of the establishment of JEQ. So if you could just sort of introduce our discussion today by looking back at the start of JEQ in terms of where it finds itself today.
Absolutely, Ashraf. We have a grand legacy at Jamiatul Qura, and the forebears of Jamiatul Qura is none other than Sheikh Yusuf Bulli, Sheikh Musa Gouda, and Imam Ali Khirdin. But that legacy lives on today. And so, yes, we've in the previous program spoke about the grand track record of Jamiatul Qura and how it started in 1969 and how it metamorphosed over the years until we've reached the present state. Right now, we've got a wonderful campus in Skarpkraal. We have two campuses where we teach the memorization of the Quran. We've got a preschool and we've got a preparatory school. So, you know, being at Dawn Mountain here, it's uncanny that we have a play on the words in terms of what Jamiatul Qura is actually standing for now, is that we have, in our 50th year, we're starting to celebrate, alhamdulillah, 50 years of Quranic excellence and a new dawn. So it's actually a play on the words, sure. Dawn Mountain. And we've got a magnificent partnership with Mahmoud Surti and Dawn Mountain, and that's why we're here today.
Okay, well, it's great. You know, exquisite beauty. It's impossible not simply to be reminded of the majesty of Allah when you see a place like
Absolutely.
this. And I'm sure we'll get to speak to Mahmoud and everybody else with regards to Dawn Mountain later. Ishmat, if I can come to you though. So 50 years of outstanding legacy, and so we can speak almost ad nauseum about the persons and the work that's gone into it. But the longevity of Jamiatul Qura certainly is done and would be measured by the success thereof. So that an institution that is able to celebrate 50 years of excellence, and there's no doubt of its excellence, what is it though, do you think, that has caused for JEQ to survive in inverted commas?
Well, the short and long of it is, I would say it's the barakah.
Sure.
The barakah of the institution.
Alhamdulillah.
And let's move from that spiritual point. Look, it's been well managed since 2001. Right in the time of my father's period as well. I think until 2010, my father passed away. And prior to that, he already started getting various businessmen involved.
Sure.
Various professionals involved. So it's professionalized the whole thing early on already.
Okay.
Early on in his life it was professionalized. So we had psychologists with us, we had educators with us, and we had doctors with us. And this thing just continued and continued with him. And
so you know what I'm asking then, Sharif, JEQ then is beyond simply children memorizing the Quran. And I'm not undermining that fact in any way, and I don't wish to diminish that. But when I say it's more than that, you are looking at the holistic development of a hafidh, as it were, not simply the rote learning. Would that be fair?
Absolutely, absolutely. But certainly not to diminish the fact that this has been a tahfidh institution, let me say to you that the part of the success has been the methodology of that Sheikh Muhammad Yusuf Buli brought from Makkah, that he incorporated into Jamiatul Qurra. And that methodology is a tried and tested methodology that has allowed us to produce close to 400 direct khufad and khafidat to this point. Alhamdulillah. And it is exactly the same methodology, and there's a sanad, alhamdulillah. And it's the same methodology that we hope to be using in the next 100 years, inshallah, or the next 50 years, inshallah.
Ashraf, can I just say, is it just tahfidh learning? Certainly the school itself has evolved. We've introduced mathematics, English, different sciences as well. We're in the process of introducing calligraphy as well, because we believe with calligraphy there's a certain spirituality involved in teaching the Quran itself.
Yes.
You see? So it's evolving all the time, you know, and it's not a static teach school only.
So if we looked at 2019, I mean, celebrating 50 years, right? So I accept the humble beginnings of 69, other periods of difficulty, and I know we've spoken in the previous episode with regards to the development in terms of Sheikh Buli in his own life, together with his colleagues, and the Talawatul Quran they used to have on Sundays, etc. And so now, as you correctly say, Sharif, there's this stunning institute that we as Muslims can all be proud of in Kaapkraal, whether you are involved in JEQ or not. And really, I take the opportunity to invite viewers to come along to observe the institute. But where we're at presently, would you be saying that JEQ meets the needs of young Muslim children? Is JEQ dynamic enough? Does it compete with those either of other ilk without mentioning names, or quite honestly just mainstream school, and I should go to madrasa in the afternoon?
Absolutely, Ashraf. You know, we've dealt with the spiritual side, we've dealt with the tahfidh side. There's certain demands in 2019. Sure. You know, we as Muslims are faced with tremendous challenges. Sure. There's certain requirements from the government side in terms of education. So we cannot, as in the old days, put a youngster into a tahfidh institution and expect him to do only that. Sure. The demands right now are that we have a holistic approach to the educational sector, and certainly at Jamiatul Qurra. So what has happened now, you know, whilst we have the fundamental belief that our organization is grounded in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and that the focus is Quran and Sunnah, we have in actual fact expanded our view to accommodate government needs and to accommodate the needs that the world demands from us right now. So we have started with a program called the Integrated Model of Islamic Education, while the fundamental core of our program is Quran and Sunnah and Islamic studies. We have expanded this to the academics. So yes, maths and science becomes a very, very important component. The Arabic language, to tap the value of the Quran and the magnificence of the Quran, that is important. But the maths, the science, the language, and the empathetic learning, which is a fundamental component of our program, producing good human beings. Yes. You know, human beings that can add an value to the community and the society that they find themselves in. But added to that, we believe that health, in terms of physical health, social health, psychological, mental health, emotional health, is also important. So this has all been induced in our program. And we've got professionals like Dr. Nadine Mullah, that we've solicited her services to ground that aspect. Sure. But of the recent aspect of our curriculum, we believe that the arts, culture, calligraphy, Quranic arts, that must all form part of this broader curriculum. This is all subscribing fully to the CAPS curriculum, the demands of the Western Cape Education Department and the National Education Department, which makes us compliant. But at the same time, giving this holistic education, we recognize the need that an educational program on its own is not good enough. So what we have done, we've solicited the services of educational experts to develop curriculum and good syllabi.
It is an ongoing process all the
Yes,
time.
yeah.
Education is.
All the time, you see. I mean, like you said, you want the end result should be a well-rounded kid, almost a well-rounded kid. And that is Allah conscious, first of all, and conscious of the Creator and the creation.
Sure.
And to serve the community.
So in terms of that sense, sorry, Sharif, if I can, Ishmael, expand that with you a little bit. So I hear what you're saying, and of course it's true. We all want that for all our children, irrespective of which school they're at. Yes, no, sure. So what is JEQ doing, in a sense, to foster that in children outside of JEQ? Point that I'm making, and really, I'm sorry guys, we need to be wrapping up in terms of time. What is JEQ doing to say that the child who leaves the JEQ premises is able to have, one, that level of consciousness, and two, be a benefit to our society? Is there a particular program?
Absolutely. We're doing a lot.
Okay.
Besides that curriculum that we have grounded, one thing that I've realized that we need good financial resources, we need a good financial stream to ensure that these magnificent programs that we are talking about, is funded.
No doubt about it, sure. I fully hear you, Sharif, but I'm sorry, we've run out of time. And so in terms of finance, and that's part of I'm sure, establishing relationships. And one of the great relationships is the people here at Dawn Mountains. And we hope to speak, obviously, to Mahmoud Surti and their spokesperson at a later stage. In a nutshell, from the both of you, there is no doubt in your mind that JEQ, Jamiatul Qura, celebrating 50 years of excellence, the memorization of the Quran, in inverted commas, is a one-stop for all parents and their children. Absolutely. Yes? So I hate to cut you, gentlemen. It's an invigorating conversation. Regrettably, though, you speak about finances, but we need to pay the bills as well. So we're going to go to an ad break. Brothers and sisters, I'm asking you to please stay tuned, because coming back, we'll be back with Sharif Abbas and Ishmael Bulli, the CEO and treasurer of Jamiatul Qura, and they will take us further down this exciting journey as they celebrate 50 years and look forward to the next.
لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Community Showcase today puts the spotlight on Jamiatul Qura, celebrating 50 years of excellence in the memorization of the Holy Quran. And today we're here at the magnificent Dawn Mountains in the Franschhoek Valley in the Western Cape. So with me still in the studio is Sharif Abbas, the chairman. I dare say I promoted you or demoted you earlier when I said CEO, and I apologize. And the treasurer, Ishmael Bulli. Assalamu alaikum, guys, and welcome back. And so before the break, we heard the stunning notion as to what you guys are up to. And really, it warms the heart as somebody, and I dare say for all the viewers for whom education is close to the heart, obviously, to learn of an institute that is developing the entire holistic being of a child rather than simply one important facet. So perhaps you can tell us a bit about the campus itself. So I've been fortunate to see the place, and in fact visited the campus on a number of occasions. But for our viewers in general, but obviously particularly for those not in the Western Cape, what does the student at JEQ have access to on the campus itself, Sharif?
Yeah. Just before I get to that, sure. Ashraf, I want to say that our campus, it's this whole quest of developing centers of excellence in the memorization, the recitation, and the study of the Quran. Sure. So that is our inspirational vision. So everybody at Jamiatul Qura, the fraternity of Jamiatul Qura, should know that that's our inspired vision. Our ultimate purpose at Jamiatul Qura, and that is the lived reality on a day-to-day basis, is that we want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes. So that's our ultimate ambition. That's what we want to do. Our fundamental purpose is grounding and developing the integrated model of Islamic education, but very, very important as part of this fundamental purpose, that we want to have a transformational impact on those very learners that you have just spoken about. The impact is that they must go through this cauldron of what we call Jamiatul Qura, where they learn the Quran, they learn maths, and they learn science, and they are grounded to be good human beings. They're going to learn the arts, they're going to learn culture, calligraphy, all of these things. That this is what happens in Jamiatul Qura. But what happens with this process, and where do we take these youngsters? They must become self-reliant, independent persons that makes a major contribution to the communities and the societies that they find themselves in. They must be contributors to a humanity out there. They must be a contributor to world peace. But at the end of the day, whatever vision they have, and we, as part of our curriculum, we call it visualization and imagination. We allow these kids to imagine their future.
Sure.
And if they want to be a Neymar soccer player, we will remove all barriers to them for them to become a Neymar.
Sure.
If they want to be a scholar of the Quran, we will remove all those barriers for them to end up being ultimately the best scholar of the Quran.
Sure.
Essentially what I'm saying is that we want to make a transformational impact. We want to make a major impact on the lives of these learners, their families, the community and societies out there.
Inshallah, beautiful. Ishmael, yes.
He's talking about the impact, and I think to a certain degree we've already made an impact. If you look at our past graduates, our past graduates, they are judges, lawyers, they're in the medical field. Our chairman of the Yusuf Buli Foundation Trust is A.B. Mohammed, Advocate A.B. Mohammed, who still actively serves on Jamiat al-Qura. So there's a perfect example where guys go in, they plow back again.
So, yeah, sure. Look, that's part of the success of any institute, yes, so that the alumni, in a sense, come back.
In fact, we're busy launching our alumni as well at the moment.
Excellent.
You see.
Maybe you can
And in fact, perhaps we should ask the viewers to, if they've been students of Jamiat al-Qura or my late father, Sheikh Yusuf Buli, to come back to the institution and plow back, inshallah.
Okay. So really one is encouraged to hear, I think, the vision. And again, I go back, we're celebrating 50 years, and so in 1969, perhaps these measures were in place. In this year, 2019, with the demands of children when it comes to education, their development, I think it is heartwarming and most encouraging to hear an institution that is committed to the memorization of the Quran, but fully understanding that the child does indeed have other developmental needs as well. So that's encouraging. But if I come back to infrastructure, it would be great to have all of these norms and ideals and things that we're going to aspire towards, but we're going to put them in an environment that perhaps is not conducive. So you referred earlier in terms of there's the preparatory school, there's the pre-primary school, etc. So the campus itself, Sharif?
Yeah, well, alhamdulillah, we've just signed a contract to buy the fourth portion of Jamiat al-Qura. We've got 4 tracts of land, and we're just short of 2 hectares at this moment in time. And on the campus, we've got a preparatory school, the preschool, and then we've got 2 tracts of land, and this is what we want to talk about.
Sure.
I want Ishmael also to make some contribution in terms of the orphanage that we're going to be building.
Sure.
But on the 3rd tract of land, because we've realized that we're in the 4th industrial revolution, we've realized the need for arts and culture, and we as Muslims have a lot to offer in this regard. So what we've got in our minds is that on the 3rd tract of land that we acquired last year, inshallah, that we're going to build an 800-seater hall there, so that the entire school population can congregate at one time. That's the first thing. But also to make that venue available to the broader community. So it's really about that outreach.
Sure.
But it is also not that we're going to charge a lot of money for that, but it will also be an income stream.
It's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah. It will cost a lot of money. The second thing, on the 2nd floor, I just mentioned the 4th industrial revolution. I believe as Muslims, we need to be protecting our deen, like the Quran, memorizing, we're protecting the deen. Yes. But with the narrative, the prevailing narrative out there being fed via information and data, we might be overwhelmed by this data, and our principles of deen might be undermined. Sure. So we're going to build this IT center, we're going to build this library, this digital resource center, so that we can become the curators of data.
Yes.
So whatever comes in, that which is bad, we put one side. That which is good, we give prominence to that.
Sure.
And then also to be the constructors of data in this new era of the fourth industrial revolution. I think it's forward thinking,
Of course.
but I believe that that center, we already have a commitment of 1 million towards that center, a very, very charitable person in the broader community.
Sure.
So that is going to happen. And then, of course, on the third level, we've also got a commitment of about 500,000 towards a maths and science center. Maths and science is a very, very important component of our curriculum. And that will be the third level. And then the fourth level, the first art gallery and art studios and calligraphy studios will be built on the fourth floor, inshallah. And that is what we want to do. To end off, I'm appealing to our viewers, and if you have a little bit of belief in what we're doing, then inshallah help this project, which is, I believe, a commendable project for the future of the Muslim youth.
Inshallah. Quite honestly, just before he speaks, you know, it's this impassioned appeal that he's making, but quite honestly, it's based on conviction and truth. And so quite honestly, at the very least, you know, there could be some people sitting in Sharif and thinking, well, okay, this is pie in the sky, this is not Dawn Mountain, this is some other mountain that you're speaking about. But maybe in 1969, if people knew where JEQ would be today, that might have been pie in the sky as well.
Absolutely.
So in terms of, and so I'm excited, the notion of providing for the community, but ultimately for our youth, an opportunity to develop in the manner. But if you don't mind, Mr. Treasurer, I'm going to bring this to you.
Yeah.
So in terms of funding, so either JEQ, and he speaks about the charitable persons, etc. How on earth is JEQ either funded? Absolutely. Let's just speak in the finances.
Please.
Yes, it is, and really, Allah reward it. Yeah.
Presently, look, we are funded, we are self-funded presently, in the sense that we have kids paying fees, you know, but we've also got a program called Adopt a Hafiz. So there's a number of viewers probably watching that are have adopted students at place, and they're paying for their tuition. But they've got to go beyond that, because, you know, that's only for tuition. If we were to do all that, that great vision he's talking about, we're going to need much more than that. We need business people to come apart, to join us in this venture and move it forward, inshallah, you know.
Because quite on, I agree, inshallah, absolutely. I mean, there is no doubt that this can happen. This is not some pipe dream that we are having.
Ashraf, if I went back to 2000, the year 2000,
Sure.
the recent list, well, 15 years ago, I mean, this would have, what we've got now would have been a pipe dream.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so really what we have now, I mean, just for the benefit of those persons who are not familiar with it, it's a stunning campus, beautifully designed, aesthetically pleasing on the eye, and there is no reason then why we should be selling our children short in terms of denying them the stuff that Sharif had just spoken about. So in wrapping up, Sharif, we've got about 2 minutes left in the program. What's your message you want to tell to parents at home, people who perhaps have the kids who could be coming to JEQ, and perhaps even ex-students, whatever the case may be?
My final message is
Yes.
that 35 to 40% of our students are either orphans or needy. And for that reason, and I asked Ishmael to speak about the orphanage that we're going to be building on the fourth tract of land. And we hopefully will accommodate about 40 orphans as the first intake, inshallah, because many of those students that's coming into Jamiatul Qura, they apply for places, they have an orphan status, they have a needy status, and our fundamental principle is that we will never deny any child an education at Jamiatul Qura.
In fact, those 40 kids that are,
Your closing comments, please, Ishmael. We got about a minute left. Yes.
inshallah, that my besides the money,
Yes.
you know, but perhaps from a different angle, that Allah grant us the sincerity to carry this through, inshallah.
I mean,
Jazakumullah. Chairman Sharif Abbas, Treasurer Ishmael Buli, Jamiatul Qura, celebrating 50 years of excellence in the memorization of the Holy Quran. A beautiful program in which these two gentlemen have spoken with truth, with conviction and sincerity. The challenge, my brothers and sisters at home, is to each and every one of us to reach out our hands in partnership with them, with Jamiatul Qura, to secure for us, inshallah, sadaqatul jariyah, but to simply improve the lives of young people. So we do not lament about the future of Muslim youth. We actively engage to make it a positive one as well. Until next time then, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
لا 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 ما تسوى الدنيا تضيق خلقك الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من حقك بس بلاش العين طيب خلقك. الحمد لله ما حد بياخذ منك رزقك، هدي وارتاح ثابر واطمح من